Problem with our net connection here today. So I was telling you it's a well circumscribed unencapsulated lesion, yellow to tan, up to 30 centimeters in diameter, and it is composed of sheets and cords of neoplastic hepatocytes, which resemble very much in their normal counterpart. Though in hepatic adenoma, microscopically the portal tracts are absent, while there are prominent arteries and veins. Significant lies the fact that it can be mistaken for hepatocellular carcinoma. If it is subcapsular, there are chances of rupture, and adenomas with beta catenin mutation have a greater risk to transform into hepatocellular carcinoma. Genetically, 30 to 40% are associated with HNF1A heterozygous germline mutations, 20 to 15% are associated with beta catenin mutation, and 50% are with inflammatory diseases like hepatitis, obesity, fatty liver diseases, overexpression of C-reactive protein, serum amyloid A, fibrostoma, mononuclear infiltrate, ductal reaction, telangiectatic vessels. These are all its peculiarities. Now, it's a bulbous pedunculated mass that arises from this liver. On the microscope, you see cords and sheets of benign-looking hepatocytes, and you can see one unpaired hepatic artery, no portal tracts. Again, the pendulous mass and microscopy. Now we move to malignant tumors, which are hepatocellular carcinoma, hepatoblastoma, which is a childhood tumor of the liver, and cholangiocarcinoma, which is a tumor of the biliary tract. So hepatocellular carcinoma, the precursors are thought to be hepatic adenoma is quite rare, while chronic viral hepatitis, especially hepatitis B and C, alcoholic liver disease, alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, hereditary hemochromatosis, if you remember, 200 times greater risk of transforming into hepatocellular carcinoma. These are precursor lesions on the microscope: hepatocellular carcinoma, small cell change, large cell change, dysplasias which are low grade and high grade. We will see them later. Now, what is a cellular dysplasia? There are two types of hepatocellular dysplasia which are associated with chronic viral hepatitis. One is large cell change, which consists of hepatocytes which are larger than normal hepatocytes. They are present basically in the periportal and periseptal regions, and they have multiple glomorphic nuclei. They are not believed to be on the pathway to malignant transformation, but they are considered as a marker of molecular changes which stem from chronic injury. और ये जो chronic injury है ये further predispose कर देती है liver को toward malignant transformation. Then there is small cell change. It is characterized by the smaller than normal hepatocytes with hyperchromatic oval or angulated nuclei. In the upper picture, you see the large cell chain where you can see hepatocytes which are larger than normal, and in the lower photograph, you see hepatocytes which are smaller than the normal. Now, there are dysplastic nodules, which can be low grade or high grade. A low-grade dysplastic nodule in the liver is devoid of cytological and architectural atypia. The cells are neoplastic but not of a great degree. Portal tracts are present within the nodules while they were absent in the hepatic adenoma. Grossly, you will see pale or bile-stained surface of the liver, or it is similar to the normal liver, 0.5 to 1.5 centimeter in diameter. The dashed line here will show you areas of hypercellularity, while the arrowhead will show you an aborted artery if you look at it clearly, carefully. High-grade dysplastic nodules they will show you cytological atypia. There will be small cell change in high-grade nodules. Architectural atypia will also be there. There will be pseudogland formation. What is a pseudogland? Pseudogland does not have a lumen in the center like a normal gland. Trabecular thickening, if the hepatocyte cords are 2 cell thick, or they will be more than 2 cell. Then there is a subnodule within a large nodule. The portal tracts are there, though they are few in number. These nodules are single or multiple, always 1 centimeter in diameter. In them, hepatocellular carcinoma may develop. The arrowhead shows you an abortive or an unpaired artery, and the dashed line in the lower right bottom shows you dysplasia and hypercellularity. Then on the right side, you see well-differentiated hepatocellular carcinoma, while on the left, it's a nodule. Now, what is hepatocellular carcinoma? It accounts for 5.4% of all cancers worldwide. It's prevalent in the regions where there is hepatitis B and hepatitis C virus infection. Asian and sub-Saharan African countries are affected. Aflatoxin association, which is a fungus, is there. 20 to 40 years is the age, peak age. The incidence is said to be on the rise in the West. Male to female in low risk areas is 3:1, while in high risk areas it is 8:1. Here in this picture, you can see the associated factors with hepatocellular carcinoma, that is hepatitis B, hepatitis C, aflatoxins, hemochromatosis, cirrhosis, alcohol, and anabolic steroids. Pathogenesis, again, the same thing, hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C, alcoholic hepatitis, aflatoxins, these are major risk factors. Hemochromatosis, alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, tyrosinemia, Wilson disease, then age, gender, other viruses, chemicals, metabolic syndromes associated with obesity, diabetes, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, they are all involved in the pathogenesis of hepatocellular carcinoma. Genetics of the hepatocellular carcinoma include there is activation of beta-catenin gene in 40% of the people. It is unrelated to hepatitis B virus, and it's a genetically unstable hepatocellular carcinoma that it keeps on getting mutated. Then there is inactivation of P53. P53, you know, is a tumor suppressor gene. When this tumor suppressor gene gets inactivated, so there will be no suppression of the tumor, and there will be increasing chances of hepatocellular carcinoma, 60% of the cases. And there is strong aflatoxin association. On morphology, on gross, what you see is either it is a unifocal tumor, that it is a massive tumor. If multifocal, it will be composed of small nodules or nodules of variable sizes. Diffusely infiltrative will show you permeating, and sometimes it will involve the entire level, and it will blend into the underlying background cirrhosis. Sometimes it is difficult to distinguish it radiologically from cirrhosis. Discrete tumor masses are yellow-white, punctuated with areas of hemorrhage and necrosis and bile stain. They have hepatocellular carcinoma has a strong affinity for vascular invasion. So intrahepatic metastases are very much characteristic, snake-like masses of tumor in the portal vein, then into the inferior vena cava. From there, they go into the right side of the heart. Here you can see the tumor nodules, the big nodule on the left side, then the cut surface shows areas of hemorrhage and necrosis, and lower down in the background there is cirrhosis, and the center depressed area shows you hepatocellular carcinoma. These are multifocal tumor nodules present in the liver. Here, microscopically, you will see thickening of the trabecular cords, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cells thickness even, and pseudo glands when there is no central lumen in the gland. Again, the arrowhead shows the hepatocyte with an enlarged hypochromatic nucleus and prominent nucleolus. On histology, hepatocellular carcinoma ranges from well-differentiated that produces hepatocytes which are arranged in cords and tuberculae and gland patterns. और ये याद रखिएगा कि ये इनकी शक्ल जो है ये normal hepatocyte से बहुत resemble करती है. The poorly differentiated lesion where they will be composed of large multinucleated anaplastic giant cells type of hepatocytes. So जो better differentiated हमारे पास variant है, मॉडरेटली डिफरेंशिएटेड हेपेटोसेलुलर कार्सिनोमा, उसके अंदर आपको बाइल प्लग्स भी नजर आएंगे, ग्लोब्यूल्स ऑफ बाइल इन द साइटोप्लाज्म ऑफ हेपेटोसाइट्स एंड सूडोक्लेनिकुलाई बिटवीन द सेल्स। एसिडोफिलिक हाइलाइन इंक्लूजन्स मैलरी बॉडीज की तरह की भी प्रेजेंट होंगी इन द साइटोप्लाज्म ऑफ द हेपेटोसाइट्स। सो देयर इज लिटिल स्टोमा in the hepatocellular carcinoma, which accounts for its soft nature, soft consistency. The, these yellow globules are acidophil hyaline bodies. Then there is a distinctive variant of hepatocellular carcinoma, which is quite important, that it is, as it is asked quite often in the OSCE or in MCQs, which is fibrolamellar carcinoma. It is present in the young individuals with no sex predilection, equally present 20 to 40 years of age, and it does not have anything to do with cirrhosis or hepatitis. It's composed of a single tumor with fibrous strands or bands which course through it, and it resembles focal nodular hyperplasia, which you had seen in the start of the tumor lectures. It is a better prognosis than hepatocellular carcinoma or other tumor of the liver. On the top, gross, you see whitish tissue, whitish area which represents फाइब्रोसिस। यहाँ पे पता चलता है कि फाइब्रस टिश्यू होगा माइक्रोस्कोपी के ऊपर। और नीचे अगर आप देखेंगे इन द माइक्रोग्राफ यू सी कॉर्ड्स एंड शीट्स ऑफ हेपेटोसाइट्स interspersed by light staining fibrous tissue septa. Here you can see hepatocytes and aplastic hepatocytes interspersed by fibrous tissue septa. Hepatocellular carcinoma metastasis. Intrahepatic metastasis, either they can be vascular or direct extension. They become more pronounced when the tumor reaches the size of 3 centimeters. They are usually small, satellite tumor nodules around the larger primary mass. The vascular route is the route of favor adopted by extrahepatic metastasis, especially by the hepatic vein. Hematogenous metastasis, they go especially to the lung, then they go to the heart as well, colon, snake-like masses, and they range from well differentiated to highly anaplastic tumor. The better differentiated are composed of cells which resemble normal hepatocytes. How does the patient present? A rapidly enlarging liver. एकदम से हेपेटोमेगाली अगर पेशेंट नोट करे तो ये एक ominous sign है, the patient has to attend to the clinic. Then there is worsening blood stain ascites, fever, jaundice, pain, fatigue, weight loss, loss of appetite, abdominal pain, abdominal fullness. Lab diagnosis includes alpha fetoprotein in 50% of the cases. लेकिन please remember, alpha fetoprotein is not diagnostic for hepatocellular carcinoma because it is also present positive in other tumors like yolk sac tumor of the testes, cirrhosis, chronic hepatitis, and in pregnancy sometimes. Radiological screening is mandatory at 6 months interval for hepatocellular carcinoma. Complications include tumor cachexia, GI or esophageal varices, liver failure, hepatic coma. Then there is tumor rupture with fatal hemorrhage. The next tumor is cholangiocarcinoma, the second most common primary malignant tumor of the liver after hepatocellular carcinoma. A malignant biliary arises from intrahepatic or extrahepatic bile ducts, accounts for 7.6% of the cancer's death worldwide, and it is especially present in the regions where liver flukes are endemic. So risk factors include chronic inflammation, cholestasis, and liver infestation with flukes like Opisthococcus and Clonorchis. Chronic inflammatory diseases of the large bile duct such as primary sclerosing cholangitis, hepatolithiasis, fibropolycystic liver disease, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C. Intrahepatic cholangiocarcinoma is large, unencapsulated, well demarcated, firm, white to tan gray, and nodular. If it is intrahepatic, it's nodular. It is frequently present in the right lobe of the liver, satellite nodules in 30% of the patients. Calcification is common. This is how cholangiocarcinoma is present in the liver. Either it forms a mass, or it is periductal infiltrating type, or it is intraductal growing type. Either intrahepatic or extrahepatic. When they are extrahepatic, they are known as perihilar tumor or Klatskin tumors. They are located at the junction of the right and left hepatic ducts. 50% जो है वो cholangiocarcinomas perihilar या Klatskin होते हैं. 20 to 30% याद रखिए distal tumors होते हैं, common bile duct में rise करते हैं. 30% intrahepatic होते हैं. They have a grave prognosis, bad prognosis. The median time from diagnosis to death for intrahepatic cholangiocarcinoma is 6 months, even after surgery. Pre-malignant lesions are there, which are known as biliary intraepithelial neoplasia, bilin N1, 2, 3. ठीक है. Morphology पे आपको कैसे नजर आते हैं? Extrahepatic cholangiocarcinomas are usually small at the time of diagnosis and they cause obstruction. They are firm gray white nodules in the bile duct, or they will maybe on diffusely infiltrative or papillary polypoidal. ये आपने याद रखती है कि small होते हैं, obstructive jaundice कर सकते हैं, या फिर ये firm nodules होते हैं, या फिर ये कि papillary होती हैं, या फिर पॉलीपॉइडल होते हैं, या डिफ्यूजिव इन्फिल्ट्रेटिव होते हैं. इंट्राहेपेटिक कोलेंजियोकार्सिनोमास अराइज इन नॉन सिरोटिक लिवर, और ये दे मे ट्रैक अलोंग द इंट्राहेपेटिक पोर्टल ट्रैक सिस्टम. दे प्रोड्यूस अ ब्रांचिंग पैटर्न इन द लिवर. These are multiple nodules of cholangiocarcinoma. Cholangiocarcinoma is actually adenocarcinoma. This you can see sclerosis or pink colored fibrous tissue strands, and then multiple glands with hyperchromatic nuclei in the cells. Here you can see mucin production. The cholangiocarcinoma may also may produce mucin. One point of importance is perineural invasion. That is, the tumor cells, they are found around the nerves. On the laboratory findings, you will see serum alkaline phosphatase elevated serum total bilirubin, parted aminotransferase or AST, serum CEA, serum CA19-9, and normal or slightly raised serum alpha fetoprotein. There are certain other primary hepatic malignant tumors, or sometimes they occur commonly together, hepatocellular carcinoma और cholangiocarcinoma. एक तो ट्यूमर इंपॉर्टेंट है वो एंजियोसार्कोमा है. आपने उसकी एसोसिएशन याद रखनी है विनाइल क्लोराइड के साथ, आर्सेनिक और थोरोस्टेट के साथ, which the dye. इसके अलावा एपिथेलियल हिमेंजियो एंडिथेलियोमास हो सकते हैं, लिम्फोमास हो सकते हैं, मॉल्ट लिम्फोमा हो सकता है, टी सेल लिम्फोमा हो सकता है. बस ये आपने नाम याद रखते हैं. Metastatic liver disease is far more common than the primary malignancy of the tumor. The most common primary roots or sources are from the colon, breast, lung, and pancreas, but from any cancer in any site of the body, that may travel to the liver. Typically, they are multiple metastatic nodules, but sometimes they are single. And sometimes they sometimes remain silent, and the patient presents only with striking hepatomegaly. The liver attains the size of several kilograms. Sometimes I told you there the absence of any clinicality or other than hepatomegaly, or if there is obstruction, then there will be jaundice, and liver enzymes will be elevated. In the children, there is a malignant hepatic tumor, which is known as hepatoblastoma. It's rare after 3 years of age. Composed of two variants, epithelial type, where there are small polygonal fetal or smaller embryonal cell forming acinine tubules or papillae, or mixed epithelium in mesenchymal components, which differentiate into osteoids or cartilage or muscle. It is associated with Beckman syndrome. There you can see proliferating hepatocytes with small round epithelial cells. Now we will move towards pancreatitis, and we will confine ourselves to exocrine pancreas, because pancreas is a gland which is composed of two types, which is endocrine and exocrine. Endocrine will be dealt with you in the lectures on endocrinology. Here we will confine ourselves to the exocrine pancreas. What is exocrine pancreas? Which is composed of acini and ducts where they secrete pancreatic enzymes. So it can be affected by infections where it includes acute pancreatitis, chronic pancreatitis, hereditary pancreatitis, or then there are tumors or cysts which are neoplastic and non-neoplastic. So this is pancreatitis, acute pancreatitis, pancreatic cell damage, the insults release calcium which binds with the lipolytic enzymes. There is fat necrosis, there is edema, inflammatory reaction, and multi-organ damage. The morphology of acute pancreatitis, it may be very much trivial or ignorable, or inflammation and edema, or it can lead to severe extensive necrosis and hemorrhage in the substance of the pancreas. So the basic pathology that you encounter in the pancreas is that there is microvascular leakage which leads to edema, necrosis, fat necrosis by lipolytic enzymes. As we know, the pancreatic acini, they secrete enzymes, lipases. They bring about lipolysis, and they lead to necrosis. Then there is acute inflammation, then proteolytic destruction of pancreatic parenchyma, because pancreas में से प्रोटियोलिटिक एंजाइम्स भी सिक्रीट होते हैं, प्रोटीएजेस भी आते हैं, और उनकी प्रोटियोलिटिक एक्शन की वजह से पैंक्रियाटिक पेरेंकाइमा जो है वो डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाता है. डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ ब्लड वेसल्स एंड सब्सिक्वेंट इंटरस्टिशियल हैमरेज. इन तमाम चीजों की जो एक्सटेंट है दैट विल डिपेंड अपॉन द ड्यूरेशन एंड द सिवियरिटी ऑफ द डिजीज. In the mild forms of acute pancreatitis, there will be interstitial inflammation which will be mild, interstitial edema, and foci of fat necrosis in the substance of the pancreas and in the peripancreatic fat. So याद रखिएगा, mild pancreatitis होगा तो mild inflammation होगी, फिर उसके बाद interstitial edema होगा और focal necrosis होगा, focal fat necrosis होगा in the pancreas and peripancreatic fat. ये क्यों होता है? क्योंकि हमारे पास लाइपेज प्रेजेंट है, लाइपेज इन द पैंक्रियास, वो ब्रेक डाउन करेगा फैट को. द रिलीज फैटी एसिड्स कंबाइन विद कैल्शियम टू फॉर्म इनसॉल्युबल कैल्शियम सॉल्ट्स, और ये दे विल गिव ए ग्रैनुलर माइक्रोस्कोपिक अपीयरेंस टू द फैट सेल्स. जब फैटी एसिड्स जो हैं वो कैल्शियम सॉल्ट्स के साथ मिल जाते हैं तो वो ब्लू कलर अटेन कर लेते हैं, ग्रेन्यूल से बन जाते हैं ऑन द माइक्रोस्कोपी. ये था acute pancreatitis in mild form, mild acute pancreatitis. Now severe acute pancreatitis, ये और या के इसको हम कहते हैं acute necrotizing pancreatitis. यहाँ पे आपको acini, ducts and islets of Langerhans, ये तमाम चीजें जो हैं ये destroy हो जाएंगी one by one. There will be vascular injury which will lead to hemorrhage and parenchyma into the parenchyma of the pancreas. Grossly or macroscopically, the pancreas will show you red black hemorrhage which will be interspersed with areas of necrosis, yellow white chalky fat necrosis. So याद रखिएगा, आपके पास red black hemorrhage interspersed or punctuated by yellow white chalky necrosis. Foci of fat necrosis may also be found in extra pancreatic tissues, a collection of fat such as the omentum and mesentery of the bowel outside the abdominal cavity, such as the subcutaneous fat. तो यहाँ पे हर जगह पे आपको फैट नेक्रोसिस नजर आ सकता है, ना कि सिर्फ फैट नेक्रोसिस इन द पैंक्रियास, रादर इन द पेरिपेंक्रियाटिक टिश्यूज. उसके अलावा ओमेंटम में, मेसेंट्री में, एब्डोमिनल कैविटी में, सबक्यूटेनियस फैट में. The peritoneal cavity in majority of the cases will show you a serous or slightly turbid or ब्राउन टिंज फ्लूइड, और उसके अंदर आपको ग्लोब्यूल्स ऑफ फैट नजर आएंगे विच विल बी डिराइव फ्रॉम दिस एक्शन ऑफ एंजाइम्स ऑन एडिपोज टिश्यू। हेमरेजिक पेंक्रियाटाइटिस होगा जब हमारे पास डैमेज हो जाएगा ब्लड वेसल का, एक्सटेंसिव पेरेन्काइमल नेक्रोसिस which is accompanied by the hemorrhage into the substance of the gland। तो ये तमाम तरह के severe फॉर्म में आपको एक्यूट नेक्रोटाइजिंग पेंक्रियाटाइटिस में नजर आएगा और हेमरेजिक पेंक्रियाटाइटिस भी नजर आएगा। फैट नेक्रोसिस से तमाम सब्सटेंस ऑफ द पैंक्रियास इज रिप्लेस्ड बाय yellow containing fat। On the left side you can see fat necrosis, and on the front or on the right side fat necrosis, and on the left side you will see focal pancreatic damage necrosis, especially in the center. Here on the left side in the head of the pancreas you see areas of hemorrhage which are dark brown in appearance, and if you see carefully on the top left corner you will see a yellow focus which represents fat necrosis। Clinical feature, the patient presents with acute abdomen, medical emergency में patient आपके पास आया hunched over है, crouched position में है, खड़ा नहीं हुआ जा रहा उससे, बैठा नहीं जा रहा उससे, और लेटता है तो पेन बहुत ज्यादा हो जाता है, abdominal pain severe in the center in the epigastrium, refer to left shoulder or back, or then there is hemolysis, DIC fluid in imbalance, electrolyte imbalance, acute respiratory distress, diffuse fat necrosis, leukocytosis, peripheral vascular collapse, तो पेशेंट शॉक में चला जाएगा, एक्यूट रीनल फेलियर हो जाएगा, ट्यूबुलर फेलियर हो जाएगा। तो लैब फाइंडिंग्स अगर आप उस वक्त उसको आप अगर आप क्लिनिकली उसको डायग्नोज कर लेते हैं कि एक्यूट पैंक्रियाटाइटिस है, एंड यू परफॉर्म हिज लैब, यू विल सी मार्क्ड एलिवेशन ऑफ सीरम एमाइलेज ड्यूरिंग फर्स्ट 24 आवर्स व्हिच विल बी फॉलोड बाय एलिवेटेड सीरम लाइपेज विद इन 72 to 96 hours। एंड आपको बताऊं कि सीरम लाइपेज इज सिग्निफिकेंट फॉर is significant for acute pancreatitis, यानी ये सेंसिटिव भी है और ये स्पेसिफिक भी है। सीरम लाइपेज जो है, सीरम एमाइलेज जो है वो सेंसिटिव जरूर है बट स्पेसिफिक नहीं है। ग्लाइकोसूरिया occurs in 10% of the cases, hypocalcemia because कैल्शियम सॉल्ट्स ज्वाइन कर गए थे फ्री फैटी एसिड के साथ, तो हमारे पास ब्लड में कैल्शियम कम हो जाएगा, ठीक है। इट्स अ पुअर प्रोग्नोस्टिक साइन। इफ यू परफॉर्म radiography you will see inflamed and enlarged pancreas which is diagnostic of acute pancreatitis। chronic pancreatitis आपको कब मिलेगा? जब आपके पास acute pancreatitis की repeated applications हो जाएंगी, या फिर आपको कोई previous cause नहीं मिलेगी, तब भी हमारे पास insidiously chronic pancreatitis develop हो जाएगा। How do you define it? It's inflammation of the pancreas with irreversible dissection and of exocrine parenchyma, fibrosis, and in the later stage dissection of endocrine parenchyma। ठीक है, आपने इस acute पैंक्रियाटाइटिस और क्रॉनिक पैंक्रियाटाइटिस को हम डिफरेंशिएट ही इस बेसिस पे करते हैं कि वो रिवर्सिबल है, ये इरिवर्सिबल। क्रॉनिक पैंक्रियाटाइटिस इज इरिवर्सिबल। यहाँ पे हमारे पास एक्सोक्राइन पेरेन्काइमल डैमेज भी है और एंडोक्राइन पेरेन्काइमल डैमेज भी है, ठीक है। अल्कोहल, लॉन्ग टर्म अल्कोहल अब्यूज जो है वो इसकी बहुत बड़ी कॉज है, और गॉल स्टोन्स हैं, फिर ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन है, हमारे पास सूडोसिस्ट है, कैल्कुलाई, ट्रॉमा, न्यूप्लाज्म्स, ट्रॉपिकल पैंक्रियाटाइटिस है जिसमें अफ्रीका एंड एशिया में हमारे पास हेरिडिटरी पैंक्रियाटाइटिस है, जेनेटिक पैंक्रियाटाइटिस चेंजेस हैं जीन्स में, और मॉर्फोलॉजी पे chronic pancreatitis characterized by parenchymal fibrosis। There is reduced number and size of the SNI with relatively sparing of the islets of the Langerhans in the initial phase and dilatation of the pancreatic duct। तो आपने देखा कि हमारे पास क्या है, फाइब्रोसिस है, reduced number and size of the SNI है। शुरू में तो SNI islets of Langerhans स्पेयर हो रहे हैं, लेकिन बाद में वो भी इन्वॉल्व हो जाएंगे। These changes are accompanied by chronic inflammatory infiltrate around lobules and ducts। The interlobular, intralobular ducts are frequently dilated and they contain protein plugs in the lumens. These are actually secretions. The duct epithelium may be atrophied or hyperplastic, and it may show squamous metaplasia, and duct concretions may be evident. सो एसिनर लॉस आपको नजर आएगा, इट्स अ कॉन्स्टेंट फीचर। फिर उसके बाद लैंगरहैंस आइलेट ऑफ लैंगरहैंस जो है उनके गिट स्क्लेरोसिस हो जाएगा, फाइब्रस टिश्यू हो जाएगा। वो पहले तो एनलार्ज होंगे लेकिन उसके बाद वो बिल्कुल डिसअपियर होना शुरू हो जाएंगे। The gland gross, it is on hard and it will show you calcified concretions. Lymphoplasmacytic sclerosing pancreatitis, which is autoimmune pancreatitis. It's a diffuse, distinctive type of chronic pancreatitis characterized by duct centric, यानी कि duct के गिर mixed inflammatory infiltrate है, venulitis है यानी कि inflammation of veins है, increased number of IG4 producing plasma cells. Or it's said to be related to pancreatic cancer. So chronic pancreatitis, on the left you see extensive fibrosis and there are only residual islets of Langerhans and ducts on the right side. And on the right picture you see inspissated concretions and fibrosis around the duct. How does chronic pancreatitis present? Either it can be associated with repeated attacks of moderate or severe abdominal pain, or recurrent attacks of acute abdomen or mild pain, or persistent abdominal and back pain. It can be entirely silent disease, और हमें उस वक्त पता चलेगा जब हमारे पास नहीं ज्यादा टाइम नहीं, डायबिटीज हो जाएगी, 5 मिनट तो पहले ही कम थे, नहीं तो डायबिटीज हो जाएगी। अच्छा ठीक है, अभी तो ट्यूमर रहते हैं। अच्छा उसके बाद आपके पास इसको आपने डायग्नोस करना है serum lipase or serum alliance. I am very much short of time. They are coming, the time is up. Then there are non-neoplastic cysts which are congenital and they result from anomalous development of the pancreatic ducts, and they are thin-walled, unilocular, range from 5 centimeter in diameter. They are lined by glistening uniform cuboidal epithelium, and pseudocysts, which are actually, they don't have an actual lining. They are composed of collection of necrotic hemorrhagic material rich in pancreatic enzyme. 75% जो होती हैं वो pseudocysts होती हैं। ये you can see they are lined by walling of the areas of pancreatic hemorrhage, necrosis, fat necrosis with fibrous tissue. They don't have a true wall. In their wall, they contain, in their center, they contain necrotic hemorrhage material and lined by granulation tissue. Neoplasm, cystic neoplasm, 5 to 15%. All pancreatic cysts are neoplastic, and the cystic neoplasms are less than 5%. Serous cyst adenomas are benign. They resemble the benign cysts. They are lined by glycogen-rich cuboidal cells, and they are lined by thin, clear. They contain thin, clear, watery straw color fluid. ठीक है, उसके बाद ये आप उसकी ग्रॉस देख सकते हैं, और माइक्रोस्कोपिक के भी ऊपर आप उसको ग्लाइकोजन कंटेनिंग क्यूबॉइडल सेल एपिथेलियम है। यहाँ पे आप देखिएगा मॉर्फोलॉजी में पेल साइटोप्लाज्म है, फाइब्रोस्टोमा है उनके दरमियान में। दीज आर म्यूसिनस cyst adenomas, मल्टीलोक्युलेटेड होती हैं ये, और इनके बाद दे आर लाइंड बाय कोलमनर एपिथेलियम, म्यूसिन secreting in nature. Then malignant neoplasm are quite rare. Head of the pancreas में 50%, body for 50%, tail में 10 to 15%. They are adenocarcinomas और साइलेंट होते हैं। हेड ऑफ द पैंक्रियास में होंगे तो जॉन्डिस कौन करते हैं, बॉडी और टेल में यूजुअली साइलेंट होते हैं और उस तक शो होते हैं जब तक कोई उन्होंने आपको ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिव सिम्टम दे दिए हों। और ये हमारे पास इन्वेड करता है लिवर, स्प्लीन, एड्रिनल, वर्टिकल कॉलम, ट्रांसकोलम, स्टमक, और इसके अलावा लिम्फ नोड्स में पेरी पैंक्रियाटिक, गैस्ट्रिक, मेसेंटेरिक, ओमेंटल, पैरालिम्फेटिक लिम्फ। माइक्रोस्कोपिकली एडिनोकार्सिनोमा मॉडरेट टू पोorly डिफरेंशिएटेड, वेल डिफरेंशिएटेड वैरायटी आपको बहुत ही कम नजर आती है इसके अंदर। पेरीन्यूरल इन्वेजन भी होती है इसके अंदर। लिम्फेटिक एंड लार्ज वेसल इन्वेजन आर कॉमन। अच्छा, वेल डिफरेंशिएटेड आपको ज्यादातर एक्सेप्शन होते हैं, बहुत कम होते हैं। वेरिएंट्स आपके पास एडिनोस्क्वेमस कार्सिनोमा, कोलॉइड, हेपेटॉइड, मेडुलरी, सिग्नेट्रिन, अनडिफरेंशिएटेड कार्सिनोमा विद ऑस्टियोक्लास्ट लाइक जायंट सेल्स। ठीक है, ये आपने मॉडरेटेड डिफरेंशिएटेड देखा है ऑडिनोकार्सिनोमा। और डेस्मोप्लेजिया यानी कि फाइब्रस टिश्यू बैंड आपके पास बहुत ज्यादा है, बहुत ज्यादा फाइब्रस टिश्यू स्ट्रोमा है, इसको हम डेस्मोप्लेजिया कहते हैं। ब्रेस्ट में भी एक वैरायटी होती है। यहाँ पे आपने देखा ग्रॉस के ऊपर आपको नजर आ रहा है कि आप एनलार्ज डक्ट है उसमें, और राइट साइड पे आपको माइक्रोस्कोपी के ऊपर इसमें आपको पेंक्रियाटिक सब्सटेंस तो नजर ही नहीं आ रही है, और डेंस फाइब्रस स्ट्रोमा है, और इल फॉर्म से ग्लैंड नजर आ रहे हैं. So this was all about hepatobiliary system. Next will be serology of hepatitis and cholangio and jaundice and LFT. Good luck till then.